metiendo para grabar esta weá, weón. Miren esa mierda, weón.
Luego acá me la pego la vuelta, weón, esta vez. Como que no un poco.
¿Acá en munición, Nicolás?
Ya saqué.
Vale.
Ahí está este weón, iluminaty.
Illuminati.
A mí me dijeron una vez.
Vos soy Illuminati, weón. Aquí vos te dijeron el Illuminati, weón.
El culeado, weón, por los tatuajes, me dijo eso.
Hay una...
No, hijo, se calla aquí. Este weón. Déjalo tranquilo, tío. Una muestra, weón. Está bacana esta música, weón.
¡No me voy a tocar, no, weón!
Oh, man, puta madre.
¡Llámanos conmigo!
¡No te cruces, po, weón! ¡No te cruces!
No me estoy cruzando, se cruza solo.
Me la pegó. Ahora dale. Sigue, pegando la grande nomás. Ahí le corté la pichula.
Qué dolor.
Buena Nacho, weón.
Oh, el weón saltó que va arriba mío, el mono culiado, weón.
No, esa weá te iba a decir, si usar el lanzallamas tenéis que usar la armadura de fuego. No podía usar otra,
Sí,
weón.
sí, caché, weón. No, si el lanzallamas me lo corté por ahí, weón.
Los weones se tiran como weones encima. Coche, tu madre. Todo vacío, weón. Ahí yo te muestro el Nacho. Oye, como están de acumular esas weá ahí, weón. Es el sitio Summer que se la está pidiendo, ¿cierto?
Sí.
Está bueno el sitio, weón. Qué buen Xiwawa, weón. Ah, llegaron los culiados. Culiadito.
No me haga cagar, weón.
Oh, culiadito. Oh, que he bugueado.
¿Dónde está, weón? Oh, weón. ¡Solo!
También estoy bugueado.
Estoy nadando.
Oh, coche, tu madre, reventó la agua verde. Mandábamos a morar, weón.
¿Y es que en la máquina oscura, pues?
Son minas, weón, se activan con la proximidad. No se activan disparándole.
Voy nadando en el suelo.
Oh, me pitió la tela, weón.
Voy rajado. ¡Uy!
Carga, wey, hijo de perra.
Solape.
Sara Papice.
Hola, perra.
Sara Papice. Yo una vez me escuché decir esa
¿Se
weá.
quiere quemar la calle, carapapiche?
Sí, Sara Papiche. Pero fue así como en uno de esos programas gringos.
A ver, Nicolás, y si me aforráis y me salváis. Que mira cómo voy. ¡Uy! No. Ay, sí, a ver. Sí, güey. No.
No,
Así,
ah,
a ver, sí. Vamos.
Voy con tu perro, weón. Me equivoqué, perro.
Dale nomás. Yo el aliento perro. El aliento perro.
New mag.
Illuminate, northeast. Sending in an eagle. 50 meters.
¿Qué ese momento quedó traumado?
Requesting air support.
Se sentía malito.
Estaba pegando un pipazo.
Que está buena esta wea. Oye, qué bueno, está pegando un bicho por detrás.
Hola, ese culeado era, weón.
Requesting fortification.
Pero recarga, hija de perra, weón. ¿Por qué no carga nunca, weón?
Last reload.
Concha tu madre.
Joining the fray. Calling in reinforcements.
Oye, esta weá hace como que carga, pero no carga nunca, weón.
Pura falacia, weón. Ah, menos mal.
Vamos.
Tagging map, northeast. 100 meters.
Fire in the hole.
Dropping a pin. East, far.
Ya va, este quiero culeo.
Requesting air support.
Requesting advanced weaponry. Head north 50 meters.
Calling down fortifications. Tagging map, northwest. 100 meters.
New mag.
Puta,
¿Y qué hacen
ya.
estos culeados volando ahí arriba, weón?
¿Por qué, weón? Yo no veo. Qué chucha.
¿Me lo pidieron? No está malo, ¿no? No se puede.
Pero weón, bueno, mil pedazos, pues.
Pues le disfruté el motor.
Tanto poder que le cago a entonces.
Son como la brigada aérea. ¿Pidieron suministro?
Sí. No.
Calling down a support weapon. Requesting fortifications.
Accepting.
Requesting sentry.
¿Qué va a bajando adentro?
¿Qué guay te está pasándote?
No, me quedé sin decir.
¿Te juro? Voy.
Vale, vale. Voy. Vale, vale.
Que la veo, weón. Pa' adentro.
No, llegaron todos los culecos. Todos los culequitos llegaron.
Ya lo marquearon.
Voy a pegarle. Puta, déjense un iluminaty, weón. ¿Dónde voy, weón? Ya están todos muertos los culeados.
Oh, lo hice cagar con la petaca, weón.
No vieron lo que pasó, weón.
¿Qué weón? ¿Qué weón?
Salió volando con un montón de manos, con la atómica.
Y es que veo.
Sí, weón. No me hizo daño.
Le bajamos.
El culiado Rambo, claro.
No me hice daño por nada. Sí. El daño que veí.
Last reload.
Bueno, con la negraca, bueno, aquí cagara como weones.
Sí, weón. Ay, chucha, el Pelican.
Ya. Vamos, weón.
Vámonos a la chucha. La bella zorra, weón. Ah, canchero, madre.
17, boludo.
Uy, qué pacho pellito. Uy, qué pacho. ¡Ah! Se puso celosa, la otra la echó cagando. La perra chica se sube encima mío a regaronear, pues, y viene la otra y la cabecea por la guata y la tira cagando patada así con un suplex. Cuática esta buena.
Me está diciendo que no, po. Ella le está enseñando que tú no sois para ella.
Claro.
Esos son los perros, weón.
Sí, weón. Pacho, mi amor. Tan mala que es usted, señora, por la chucha. Que hay esta otra después se refriega arriba mío como si. Qué
Te tocó esa perra, dice el otro.
te tocó esa perra. Claro, te tocó esa perra que evitarte ese olor.
Espera acá, yo te perfumo. Acabo de revolcarme en un mojón.
Me ha pasado, weón.
Oye,
Calma, que se me había olvidado darles comida, por eso están tan eufóricas.
Ah, claro, viene una película. Weón.
Eso.
Entonces no le está diciendo que no, pues le está diciendo que así no se hace.
¡Hambre! No habían comido, ¿no?
¿Voy a parar?
¿Sí?
Ya. Yo igual me voy a salir porque tengo que hacer unas cosas.
Sí, bueno.
Muy bueno.
Lo jugamos más ratito.
Más ratito.
Sí, nos
no.
vamos a sacar.
Ya cabros, un abrazo.
Allá en la monachita.
Vale, chau.
Entonces vamos a ir a guiar a Fitness. ¿Salgamos un rato con la olla ahora? Ya. Con la ovelona.
Ay, no, yo me voy a quedar acá.
Ah, entonces no tiene.
Pero baby,
Entonces no va a tener.
¿qué cosa? Helado.
No lo sé. Solo no vas a tenerle.
Yo ahí cuando estábamos jugando con el
Vamos a ir al parque.
Slogan is what they look like, their personal life, and just like, I mean, face value everything, right? You don't look into the politics, that's it. Okay. Garabi Hatao, which means remove poverty. How do you debate that? Wait, before we get into the video, we're doing a subathon right now on twitch.tv, live right now, all in order to raise money for a new production barn so we can do more sets, more puppets, bigger stuff. We're live. After you watch this, go watch, support the Barnathon. Twitch.com/MeatCanyon. Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? How you doing? Come on and sit on down because today we're talking about freaks. Or as we like to call people nowadays, TikTokers, or people on Instagram Reels. But before you had entertainment at the little tips of your fingers, we had a little thing in the world called freak shows. That's right. I mean, people I think take for granted how easy it is to see all of the abhorrent, terrible people, not even disfigured, just terrible people out there in the world, right? TikTok, Jack Doherty, that guy who messes with tourists overseas, Johnny Somali. We take for granted how crazy it is that at any time you can watch, I'll give you a link to this. I watched a guy on Instagram Reels the other day. He pulled out his tooth with a wrench. His 4 teeth left in his mouth. Horrible. You would pay money for that at a freak show. Because back in the day, people actively looked for these things. People wanted to have some kind of weird attraction, some kind of crazy phenomenon they could see, something to break up the mundane nature of their day-to-day life. And that's where the freak shows came in. So today I wanted to go down the dark alleys of the freak show. Really see what made people tick back in the day. Because I gotta tell you, if it's anything like, it's gotta be, there's no way it can be as worse as today. But we can at least see. So let's talk about the earliest freak shows, right? It feels weird too. A lot of this is just like obese men. They're like, what a freak! You have to pay a ticket to like watch a guy like eat a cupcake. They're like, oh,
He's 250 pounds.
he's 250 pounds since the Great Depression. How does he do that? You fat fuck! The concept of freak shows really began as early as the 1500s. These deformities used to be seen as a curse or an indicator of evil spirits, but eventually turned into public curiosity. So I got back in the day, they're just like a woman with like maybe some facial hair, and they're just like, oh my God, there's a goddamn demon attached to that woman. Which, to be fair, if you're in 1500s, you'd probably think the same thing. You're just like, I don't trust her. Often, these exhibits showcase people with a unique number of limbs or those with dwarfism. For the time, this was surprising to see and would merit paying for the chance to witness it. We're talking about 1500s. The WWE with Andre the Giant, that was the 70s, and people would come out in droves because before the internet, it was all word of mouth, right? So you would have people be like, the guy's 12 feet tall, he weighs 4,000 pounds. And this weird childlike optimism would go in people's heads, and they'd be like, oh my God, he must be the biggest person ever. So the same thing applies with people with dwarves or like people that are like, he's the Spider-Man, he has 8 limbs. I could see people being like, are you fucking kidding me? Here, take a Chicken. Whatever they're paying. I don't know what they're paying with back then. An early example of a quote freak was Lazarus, Colorado, and his brother Johannes, who hung upside down from his chest.
Image. Look at
This is
that.
a crazy image, dude. Good fucking lord. His brother was a parasitic twin that did not speak and kept his eyes and mouth shut. Dude, if I sat there and I saw a guy, he's like, hello, I'm Lazarus. This is Johannes. And he's just like, he's alive, right? And he's like, he refuses to look at you. Look at me, Johannes. And he's just like, because of his condition, he was unable to make money unless it was in the form of showcasing his deformity or a freak show. Now, this is kind of a sick way. The first guy who's just like, yeah, I don't give a pay to see me. Look at me. It costs $1. Look at me. Spectators would note that Johannes would occasionally open his eyes. Like he's just upside down. He's just like, that'd be creepy. If I was a kid, that would scare the shit. If I was a 15th century, like Victorian child, I'd be like, hide behind my mom. The two of them even made an appearance with King Charles I in the early 1640s. At one point in Lazarus' life, he was put on trial for murder after smashing a bottle on the head of a drunken man, acting in self-defense. Dude, you definitely know that guy was just like, let me fucking pick at him, let me see his cock. And I was just like, God damn you, sir. I think Lazarus is like a very well put together guy. You son of a... He was charged with a death sentence. God! But it raised the question of whether or not it was moral to take the life of Johannes, who had done nothing wrong. Yeah, Johannes is just like, upside down. Death to Lazarus, but keep Johannes alive somehow. He's innocent. Look at him.
Yeah, that's death sentence.
The death sentence to you. After showing records of the two of them being baptized, Johannes was deemed to indeed have a soul, leading to both of their freedom. So basically just like, fine, throw the freaks in some water. He has a soul. We'll let him live. It'd be funny if the next day Lazarus just busted another bottle over another guy's head. You son of a bitch. Hit him again. Or we can talk about the history of P.T. Barnum and his infamous freak show. Even if you haven't heard of P.T. Barnum, you've probably seen, I would assume, pictures or... This is like the most infamous freak show around. This is the world famous P.T. Barnum freak show.
Also, Barnum and Bailey's Circus.
Barnum and Bailey's Circus. You heard of that? I didn't. Nick just said it. I've never heard of that.
Really?
No. While freak show acts technically started in the 16th century, it didn't begin to see widespread appreciation and popularity until the 1800s. 200 goddamn years of Lazarus beating people with bottles and Johannes being like, Oh, do you think he could speak, Johannes?
He said he couldn't speak. His mouth was shut.
He had to feed the little motherfucker on his chest, right? Johannes, eat the gruel. And Lazarus has to lay on his back and like feed him up like that. It'd be a crazy session too. Can you imagine getting back shots from Lazarus and all of a sudden Johannes' hands are just like
He's feeling a titty.
looking like Hector Salamanca, whatever, from Breaking Bad. Lazarus is like, look at me, actor. Look at me, actor. Okay, we gotta move on. Amongst those in circus industry, P.T. Barnum was known as one of the most influential of his time. You may recognize the name for the movie The Greatest Showman with Hugh Jackman that definitely no one saw. In the movie, P.T. Barnum is portrayed as a fun-loving hero that takes in people with unfortunate abnormalities and celebrates them. But in reality, P.T. Barnum was an incredibly selfish man that took advantage of people around him from the very start of his career. Of course, the 1800s fucking freak show runner is not a good guy. I like how people are like, what? P.T. Barnum wasn't a good guy? He's like, Dolphin Boy, get in the tank! He's like, I actually don't know how to swim. Get in the fucking tank! His name was Phineas Taylor Barnum, and he was born in 1810 and proved himself to be a natural entrepreneur. Before he was 21, he was publishing his own newspaper and running a general store, as well as a lottery business. How the f do you start that? Buy ticket. I'll call some numbers later. Maybe you'll win. It's like, yeah, I trust you. He entered the world of entertainment at 25 when he bought the rights to the exhibit of an elderly African-American singer named Joyce Heath. She claimed to be the 161-year-old nurse of George Washington. Word? While many believed this claim was laughable, Barnum's impeccable marketing skills made her a cultural phenomenon. It's kind of interesting. The guy's just like, yeah, people will laugh at you, but like, there's gonna be some people who are like, really? Even today, if someone's just like, I knew George, he was my neighbor, there's gonna be some guy be like, are you fucking kidding me? What was he like? Was he cool? You're like, it's been 200 years, sir. It's been almost 300 years.
Also, I think people would be like, oh, that's preposterous. I gotta buy a ticket to prove them wrong.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go and mock them to their face. And it's just going to be like probably like a 65-year-old woman who's just like, She wins you over. Hello. Oh, she's very nice. He had her working 10 to 12 hours a day. He had her working 10 to 12-hour days until she eventually died at the age of 80. Barnum exploited her to the very end, publicly displaying her autopsy for 50 cents to reveal her actual age as a final performance. What a dick, dude. 200-year-old woman, come see how old she really is. It's just like, she was 80. You got duped! The exit's right over there. In 1841, Barnum created the Barnum's American Museum in New York City, which began the golden age of the freak show. This is eerily similar to Zach Baggins. Is it not? He starts off as a ghost hunter and all of a sudden now he has a haunted museum. What's going to be next, dude? What is going to be next, actually?
What if he actually captures a real ghost?
I was going to say he starts a brothel.
Oh.
Zach Baggins Suck and Fuck Festival. You can come suck my dick if you want and get haunted. I don't know. The exhibits consisted of various items like taxidermied animals and fake historical artifacts. They were often referred to as dime museums. One historical artifact was a trunk of a tree that Jesus and his disciples supposedly sat under. He's like, that's it. I think he sat like this. Well, is it? Yeah.
How'd they get that from Jerusalem?
It's a dime. Yeah, how'd you bring that over from Jerusalem? Don't worry about it. The hawk guy helped me. It's like a guy with like covered in feathers. Another was known as Fiji mermaid. Rather than being the mummified remains of an actual mermaid, it was simply the torso and head of a monkey sewn to the back of a fish. I've heard of this one. The monkey thing, it looks rad. Looks very cool. P.T. Barnum's like a master. He's actually a master crafter, and they're just like, you should just become an artist. He's like, no! I'm a showman, you see. I have to make my money my only way I can. It's like impeccable work. P.T. Barnum, while incredibly talented, was very driven by greed and was often quick to exploit and deceive people for financial gain. He was commonly attributed with the phrase, there's a sucker born every minute. That's a fucking good phrase though, isn't it? For like a seedy, like, there's a sucker born every minute just for me to penny pinch him. His unapologetic exploitation can be highlighted with the biggest breakout exhibit, his Human Curiosities, consisting of individuals with rare conditions or physical deformities. This would become what is known as the Freak Show. The performers were marketed as freaks of nature or simply freaks. Which now we can finally get into the freak show acts, dude. Let's actually start looking at what these people are. Starting with General Tom Thumb. Born in 1838, Charles Stratton lived with pituitary dwarfism, meaning his body was unable to properly produce growth hormones. This heavily impaired his development. Hasbulla. Have you seen the video of Mike Tyson kissing Hasbulla? How creepy is that?
Did you see he got interviewed and he's like, I thought he was a kid. That's what I do to kids.
I don't know, man. I just that's how I am with children.
Yeah, I didn't know if you actually knew it.
Like 26 years old.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a 30-year-old man.
He had stopped growing at 6 months old and only grew to a maximum of 3 feet 4 inches in his lifetime. It's kind of tall. Taller than Hasbulla, right? When P.T. Barnum was made aware of this man's condition, he saw an opportunity. He urged his parents to let him take Stratton under his wing in order to turn him into an entertainer. Now they're just like, let me take your baby, man, and I'll be able to produce gold with him. They're like, okay. I imagine the 1800s too, they're just like, you could have just walked in and grabbed him. Take him off my back, literally. He's on my back like a seed tick.
Jesus.
Because of his abnormal height, finding a job was no easy task. So he took him up on his offer at only 4 years old. That's actually, I thought he was a full-grown man. He's just a child. How do you even know that there's something wrong with him? It was the size of a goddamn, like a volleyball. Let me take your ball, child. 1840. How did he hear about him?
He must have been walking by. Ooh.
Oh my good God! Look at you, little man. I'm 4. That's the strangest 4-year-old I've ever seen. He learned to sing. He learned to sing and dance while dressed in elaborate outfits. He was also known for his impersonations of famous people and was regarded as a talented comedian. He had talent. He's just like, stop doing the Rockefeller impression and get back in your monkey outfit. God damn it. Under his stage name, General Tom Thumb toured with Barnum for 3 years and made a fortune from his success. He even joined Barnum as a business partner. Damn, this looks like we're getting in there. In 1884, Barnum even went on tour to Europe, bringing Stratton along to perform in front of Queen Victoria. Stratton passed away from a stroke in 1883 at the age of 45. It was reported that 10,000 fans attended his funeral. That's actually kind of sick. I mean, like when I heard the 4-year-old thing, I was like, that's crazy, but don't get me wrong, he exploited the shit out of him. But it seemed like they were actually like in cahoots with each other, or, you know, he seemed like he got a good cut of the pie, hopefully. Which even the smallest cut of the pie would be pretty big for him. Okay. Next up, we have the bearded lady. One of the most iconic staples of the old school circus freak show was the bearded lady, aka Annie Jones. Born in Virginia in 1865, it was reported that she came out of her mother's womb with a chin covered in hair. Her money-hungry family sought to make money off of their daughter, sending her off to P.T. Barnum's New York exhibit before she was even a year old.
What is up with these parents?
P.T. Barnum was just, he's like goddamn Professor Xavier. He just is like getting like all these like wayward kids. And he's like, well, I have a school for you to be a freak in, my friend. My God, she was showcased in his museum and became a big hit. At a year old? I mean, behind a glass case, we were just like, ew. P.T. Barnum's just like, good girl, here's an apple. Everyone's just Johannes to me. Barnum offered her mother a weekly rate of $150 for a 3-year contract. Damn, that must have been good money, right? Holy shit.
That's a lot of money.
Annie would contrast her masculine features by dressing in extravagant dresses, and even honed her musical skills with the mandolin to elevate her performance. At one point, Annie helped Barnum out as nanny to his children. While she was caring for them, a phrenologist from New York kidnapped her.
I think that's a blood.
A fucking vampire doctor came in and stole her. This man attempted to steal her and add her to his own sideshow exhibit. What? Desperate for the same success, he even claimed Annie was his child. I mean, she can talk. I mean, what? Unless they're all like Giannis. Feverishly braiding hair. Fortunately, things were settled in court and she was returned to her parents. Oh, good. How old was she at this point?
She was watching Barnum's kid at 8 years old.
But she, like, P.T. Barnum's just like, keep the whole house under, don't worry, we're in a bad part of town, watch my kids, please. She's at 8 years old with a full beard. She was one of the first to campaign against the usage of pejorative word freak as a way to refer as sideshow performers. Sadly, she died of tuberculosis in 1902 at the age of 37. Damn, dude. It's kind of sick though, dude. All these people actually have some kind of like, they're well-adjusted, respectable people trying to make positive change. Both Stratton and Annie here had positive actions, even at such a young age. Being taken away from your family like that, are you fucking kidding me? And then P.T. Barnum's just like, what do you mean? Freak isn't derogatory.
That's what you are. You're free.
It's just what you are. You're a freak. If I was fat, would it be rude to call me fat? Which now it is, I guess. Okay, never mind. Chang and Eng, the original Siamese twins. Chang and Eng Bunker were born in Thailand in 1811. Conjoined at the sternum with both of their livers fused together. Aside from this, they're completely separate organs. Wow, the only thing combining them was just their livers? That's kind of f***ed, right? They had begun touring as a sideshow attraction with a man named Robert Hunter in 1829, going to Boston, London, and New York. They were very successful, and even got to perform for the Prince of Siam. The f*** is Siam at?
Siam.
What's Siam? God, dude, I don't know shit, dude. I'm dumb as fuck. Editor, I don't know. After that, they decided to buy a plantation in North Carolina.
What?
Investing a fortune in the importation of goods. They both got married and had 21 kids between them.
Oh my God.
Damn! I want to become a fucking freak, man. I need to get my life on track. Are you kidding me? Holy hell. Purchasing 18 slaves to take care of their massive family. Well, you know, it's a different time. You know. In 1860, they signed with P.T. Barnum in order to have a wax sculpture of them displayed at his New York museum. They worked together for only a short time. Chang and Eng struggled after the Civil War, no longer being able to rely on slave labor. Different time. Their plantation began turning very little profit, prompting them to consign themselves to the life of the circus with Barnum once more. He's just like, sorry, looks like you had to get rid of your helpers, huh? You want to go on the road? Chang Bunker died in 1874 due to cerebral blood clot after failing to perform an emergency separation surgery. Eng Bunker died as well 3 hours later. That is brutal, dude. All because they didn't want to do the surgery?
No, what happened was Chang died because of the cerebral blood clot. So then they were like, we need to cut you off because you're gonna die.
Oh, so they
with
failed.
him.
They failed to perform
Yeah.
it. So they tried to do it, but he died 3 hours later. I see. Cut me off of this bastard. Get him off. Or we can talk about Isaac Sprague. Sprague. I think it's Sprague. The living skeleton. Isaac W. Sprague was born in 1841 in East Bridgewater, Massachusetts. At the age of 12, Isaac suddenly began to lose weight at an incredibly fast rate due to the lack of medical knowledge at the time. Doctors were unable to figure out what was happening. One doctor suggested that it was simply from swimming too much. To have that be a conclusion, he must have been in that fucking pool all day. Or in the water. Isaac! I'm staying out. When he was fully grown, he weighed about 43 pounds and stood at 5'6". Due to this thin frame, he was often low energy.
Maybe that's why he's in the pool.
Yeah, I don't have to walk, I can just float. I like to think that they're just like, you're 43 pounds and you're 5'6". He's like, throws a towel over his shoulder and just walks down to the beach. Like, God damn you, Isaac. He had been working for his father as a shoemaker as well as a grocer. However, at 19, his parents had passed away. He found that he was unfit for most other jobs and struggled making a living. In 1865, P.T. Barnum convinced Isaac to work with him, going so far as to offer $80 a week, which is about $1,300 today. I mean, I was making about $5,000 a month. A little over $5,000 a month.
Pretty good. Not bad.
Like a living skeleton, I could buy my own pool. Barnum created the stage name The Living Skeleton, and in his act became incredibly successful. That is crazy. He's a very thin man. Nice face though. Damn nice face. It's kind of crazy. I don't see it now. My legs are too fat. Knees are just always so unpleasant to look at, aren't they? Like, especially on skinny people. I don't like it. Strangely enough, imitators were inspired to starve themselves and lose an unhealthy amount of weight just to gain the same level of success that he did as a sideshow act. Isaac eventually married and had 3 children who did not have any of the ailments as their father. I'm telling you, dude, they are putting us all to shame right now, aren't they? Holy hell. He attempted to take a break from the circus work to be with his family, but eventually had to return to make ends meet. It was known that Isaac heavily disliked the job, likely for the constant ridicule he received for his appearance. Yeah. I love to just sit there and be berated the entire 10, 12 hours a day. Can I please? He had also become too weak to easily perform his job, to the point where he was forced to wear a flask of milk around his neck to make sure he had enough energy throughout the day. Oh, pours in a little tub in front of him. He's like, Isaac, you're supposed to drink it, not swim. Okay. As the show began touring around the world, Isaac developed a bad gambling habit. The money that was meant to support his family was being used to feed his addiction. Can you imagine saying the little muff got like a blackjack table?
Hit me.
You have 19.
Hit it.
All right, that's a 24. Ah, shit. Gets up out of the table. You can't swim away from this gambling. Okay. In 1882, he was diagnosed with severe muscle atrophy. Harvard Medical School was fascinated by the rare case, offering him $1,000 or $26,000 today to study his body after his death. Not a bad deal. You give me $25,000 up front now? Are you kidding me? I'm not. Yeah. Isaac eventually died at the age of 45 in 1887 from asphyxiation after living his last several years in extreme poverty.
Dang, he just blew that money away.
He did, dude. I'm telling you, you gotta watch out. Hey, who doesn't like playing baccarat, right? Getting a little couple drinks, he ain't playing baccarat. Why not? But Isaac, I mean, can you imagine seeing that little shaky motherfucker at the table? A 2. People aren't even gonna know. People don't know how to play baccarat. Never mind, Esme. But tragedy struck this freak show. While the museum was very successful, a pattern of tragic events pushed Barnum to take his show on the road rather than being confined to a single building. He definitely just burned down his own thing for fire insurance. Let's see. In 1865, Barnum's American Museum was engulfed in flames, destroying the entire property. While no humans lost their lives, it was reported that 2 whales had boiled alive in their tanks.
Look at me. So he was SeaWorld.
His museum had 2 whale tanks. You know, it was something too where they probably were just idle. They can breathe.
Just big enough to put them in.
That's what I'm saying. They're just sitting there like, they can't even move. They're just like, their fins touch the glass. He's like, well, at least they're breathing there. They gotta be happy, right? Hitting the fucking glass really hard. I love you! After it was fully rebuilt, another fire had destroyed the property in 1868, only 3 years later. The water used to extinguish the flames had frozen over, covering the building in icicles and inadvertently creating a dazzling spectacle. It does look pretty sick, honestly. Barnum decided it was not worth to keep rebuilding, opting to take the show on the road instead. It seems something like, is there an insurance scam there?
I bet he was a competitor.
That's what I'm saying. Well, yeah, if people are starving themselves, some fucking anemic guy walking up, I haven't had a fucking piece of bread in 3 days. You, Barnum. But because of these fires and not wanting to rebuild, it ended up creating the greatest show on Earth. His new show was established in 1870. P.T. Barnum's Grand Traveling Museum, Menagerie, Caravan, and Hippodrome. You gotta shrink that name. Okay. This was thanks to the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad, allowing circuses to easily relocate their animals and equipment, like the whales. P.T. Barnum was eventually approached by W.C. Coop and Dan Costello, agreeing to merge into a much larger production known as The Greatest Show on Earth. That's a great fucking name. Way better than Hippodrome. What the fuck is that? As circus shows began to become more and more popular, many other big acts were being discovered, not just by P.T. Barnum, but from circuses all around the world. such as Myrtle Corbin or the four-legged girl from Texas. Corbin was born with dipicus, a duplication deformity that led to the growth of 2 extra legs and 1 extra pelvis, a whole other pelvis.
Wow.
It's crazy. I'll tell you what, dude, can I just say something weird? Pelvises are kind of aesthetically pleasing. The actual drawing them, like drawing them and stuff.
Okay.
You know, I don't have to fucking defend myself, dude. I said what I said and I meant what I said, Nick. You look disgusted there. Oh.
The bone?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The bones.
Well, yeah, what do you think I meant?
I don't know.
You know, like when a girl has a nice pelvis, nice abs, you see like little bumps from the pelvis there?
Oh, okay. So, but you're not talking about just...
I'm not even having this conversation anymore. Well, this is going nowhere. Soon after she was born, her father would charge people a dime to come up and look at her. Hey, you, come here. Give me a dime. All right, have a good day. They got the attention of Barnum, who snatched her up and had her performing as young as 13 years old. I'll tell you what, Barnum finds a fucking way to find you, doesn't he? Like, I like to imagine once again it was her like walking by like a fucking crab. Good God! She made enough money to retire at only 18 years old. That's awesome. That's fucking sick. The success of this attraction led many people to create fake prop legs in order to mimic the attraction. And she had a successful career, married, and had 4 children. It was said that different children were born from each orifice. Awesome. Hell yeah. Can you imagine that going out? Which path are you going to take? See A or see B? So she had 2 pussies?
Just
Awesome.
with the second pelvis.
That's sick, dude. Wonder which one she liked more. I hope this one comes out of pussy A. She passed away in 1928 before her 60th birthday. For a freak show life, that's a fucking good life. She worked for 5 years and she just retired. That's awesome. Good for her. Or Joseph Merrick, the Elephant Man. I love the Elephant Man, dude. Have you ever seen the movie with Anthony Hopkins, the Elephant Man? I'm a human being too. You ever see that? All right. Joseph was born in 1862 and looked like any other healthy child. At the age of 3, he began to develop swelling across his whole body that continued to grow to alarming sizes. In his early years, he struggled to find a job after leaving school. Due to his disfigurement, he could not perform certain tasks and had to look extra hard for sustainable work. His dad helped him gain the proper license needed to become a door-to-door salesman, but would shock and scare off those that answer the door. First off, way to not have any intuition. So you look odd. Let's have you do something where you have to approach strangers and talk to them. Doy? After being beaten by his father for his poor sales. God damn! You're not selling enough globes. I'm sorry, Dad. I did not want to buy it for me. He ran away from home. At this time, he was homeless and eventually admitted to the
Leicester
Union Workhouse, which helped out the poor by giving them work, food, and water. The conditions of this place were more so like a prison. His growing deformity took away his ability to perform any sort of physical task. In desperation, he offered to put himself up in a freak show. And soon, he was being paraded as a man that was half elephant, half man. It's so fucked up. You know, like, it's something, too, that I like to imagine they came up like, just like that. You're an elephant. All right. You know what I mean? He's like, okay. When human curiosity exhibits were outlawed in the UK, he was again desperate for work. He went to Belgium to find work, only to be mistreated even further before contracting a bronchial infection that soon took away his ability to speak clearly. Sound motherfucker, I mean, what a hand life has dealt you. With the help of Sir Frederick Trevis, a medical student, he was able to reduce his infection. Regardless, he passed away at the age of 27 from asphyxia. He had dislocated his neck due to the weight of his head and the lack of support from his neck. It was said he tried to sleep on his back like a normal person, which ended up taking his life. This is very sad. Once again, yeah, just a completely hand that life gives you. Also, to outlaw the freak show thing, it seems ethical because of human exploitation, but it sucks because you're like, this is probably the only way this man could have ever had any kind of, like, living, you know? Any times a means of living. Very sad. You know, I need to put a fucking damper in the room here. Gotta get my, another Johans kind of moment here. Or we can talk about Fedor Jiftichu. Jiftichu? He was Jojo the dog-faced boy. Now we're back in it. Fedor was another one of the most famous sideshow performers. Born in St. Petersburg in 1868, he was brought over to the U.S. when he was 16 to work with P.T. Barnum, because P.T. Barnum always finds a way. He had a condition known as hypertrichosis, which is excessive growth of hair anywhere on the body. The story that Barnum conjured up to sell tickets was that he and his father lived in a cave in the forest before being captured by a hunter. In the story, his father was killed for being far too savage. The reality was his father died by drinking himself to death. Well, maybe the being a freak werewolf man and might be a better way to go. Although Jeff Tichu was incredibly intelligent and could speak various languages, he was reduced to a dog that had to bark at a mocking crowd to make a living. A fucking bilingual man. Reduced to just being like, rough, 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 and people were like, oh, God! He passed away in 1904 from pneumonia when he was 35, being mourned by fans and performers all over. I will say, I wonder if this had any influence on the Werewolf Man. Does this not look like the Werewolf Man?
It looks like the Wolf Man, Michael J. Fox.
Well, the Universal movie came out in the 30s, 30s, like the 20s or something like that, but Michael J. Fox, Teen Wolf, you know, the first werewolf man. Or we could talk about Felix Wary, the Elastic Man. Born in 1858, he was born with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a rare disorder that gave him stretchy joints and skin resulting from very weak connective tissue. Oh, what the does that even mean? This gave him an innate skill, allowing him to pull at his skin like he was made of rubber. He could even bend his fingers backwards. Ooh, can you imagine seeing that? He's just like... He was popular for his contortion sideshow attraction with Barnum and Bailey.
He's Luffy.
Oh my God!
This is literally just a real life Luffy. Makes me sick, dude. If I had a stretchy, if I was Elastic Man, you better hope I could stretch my cock. That'd be the would be the final. You have like a little pig, kind of tiny, and people are just like, haha, they laugh at you, and all of a sudden he's just like, oh really? People are like, oh. Would that not be the best way to end your show? Or Grady Stiles, the Lobster Boy. Grady Stiles was born in 1937 with leading to a deformity in his hands and feet that gave him lobster claw-like hands. He was unable to walk due to the shape of his feet. His father already had the condition and was part of a freak show, which led him bringing his children along to join the act. Stiles was known as a lobster boy at age 7, so his dad was the lobster man. This is kind of sick, though. His hands do look like lobsters. I gotta say, his get-up's kind of sick, too. They got that old boy splayed open, though. Close those legs now. The past 6 generations of his ancestors had this same condition dating back to 1840. The condition seemed to be genetic, leading to a large family with similar appearances. They ultimately created a family circus group called the Lobster Family. The family gained amazing wealth for their performances. Oh, good. But Stiles struggled to cope with those that resented him and treated him with disgust. His answer was a turn to alcohol. Don't put that in. This would manifest into anger and violence, which came to haunt Mary Teresa, a carnival grifter that he fell in love with and eventually married. At one point, Stiles allegedly ripped his wife's IUD out of her body during a heated exchange before using his claw-shaped hand to choke her.
Oh my God.
An IUD?
That's to prevent
Pregnancies.
So you went up there.
This would lead to a horrific event in which Stiles murdered an innocent man out of pure anger. Lobster Boy Angie. His daughter Donna wished to marry a man named Jack Lane. Stiles heavily disapproved, but Donna was eager to escape her dangerous family life and insisted on living with him. Stiles insisted that he would kill him if it were to ever happen. When things calmed down, Stiles and Jack arranged to meet to discuss the marriage. When they met, Stiles pulled out a shotgun and murdered him in cold blood. Reportedly, after Donald learned of his death, Stiles gave an evil smile and said, "I told you I would kill him." On trial, he claimed self-defense and used deformity along... Well, how could you do that? Like, are you kidding me? It was self-defense. After you just looked at your daughter, I told you I would kill him. On trial, he claimed self-defense and used his deformity along with fake tears to garner enough sympathy to leave with only 15 years of probation. That son of a bitch. At home, the violence only escalated, but after his divorce, the kids were targeted the most. God damn, it still isn't ending. Teresa had already remarried and had children, but felt so much guilt over the state of her other kids that she returned and remarried Stiles.
Jesus.
Now fed up, Teresa and her son offered $1,500 to a sideshow performer to take Stiles' life. Sick. Ultimately, Stiles died at the age of 55 after being gunned down in his trailer while he was watching TV. He was hated by many, and only 10 people came to his funeral. Wow! The Lobster Boy. The Lobster Family. My God. Lobster Boy's a piece of shit. But then we usher in the era of the end of the greatest show in the world. In the 1890s, people became less interested in freak shows due to the ethical and moral issues with parading people's misfortunes for entertainment. Around this time, P.T. Barnum died of a stroke at 80 years old. In 1898, famous sideshow performers staged a labor strike during a UK tour in order to demand the removal of the word freak on all advertising materials. This event was dubbed the Revolt of the Freaks. Ironic.
Let's remove the word.
Yeah,
but
freaks, and then we'll put the Revolt of the Freaks. There you go. In the coming years, medical advancements brought along a better understanding of what was going on with these people, which took away the mystery and magic of human curiosities. It didn't help that the animals held in captivity were mistreated horribly as well. The freak shows eventually died in the 1940s due to federal laws, prohibiting the discrimination of people with physical disabilities. Way to go. Barnum and Bailey Circus slowly evolved into the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey, which is still running to this day. Kind of crazy to think about.
I think they just canceled that.
Oh, they just... Okay, never mind. It just got canceled. Never mind, it is just gone. The circuses of today are not much better. I think it's still this weird area of animal abuse, you know, exploiting people. I think circuses, the idea of circuses are still very controversial, yet it still brings in crowds. Whether the ethics of it, it's still something that happens today. Personally, I'm just like, let's not chain up animals and do what, I mean, like, we have enough, the internet gives us all we need, which that leads me back to the internet. I sincerely believe that vertical content, as we know it, reels, shorts, TikToks, are the future and the mainstream way of the P.T. Barnum production now. Only this time there's no ringleader. The only ringleader is people's need for likes, notoriety, the need for attention, the disconnection people feel nowadays that they try to actively get online. That's the freak show. Even the things we do on this channel, you could say is a freak show. The participation in weird events just to garner likes and clicks. It's a horrible thing, but people crawl out of the woodworks to be their own P.T. Barnum for themselves and raise their own kind of attractions. And my God, I don't see that going anywhere anytime soon. It seems like kind of a thing that'll continuously evolve as time goes on. Now it's vertical content. What will be next? I don't know. But all I know is the freak shows of the past, the people who participated in those, seem to be much, much more respectable than the Jack Dohertys, the Jesse Somalis of the world that we have now. Johnny, whatever, doesn't matter. He's in South Korea. He's gonna die there. The freak shows were a thing of the past, and I'm glad that we're moving in the right direction by just having the freaks come out and parade themselves around for free. That's freak shows for you. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and hanging out with us today. We will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye. Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? How you doing? Come on and sit on down because today we're talking about dating. Dating's hard. Being in a relationship long-term is hard. Dealing with the same person over and over again every single day. My God, what a drag. But also even trying to get into a relationship is even more difficult. Trying to find that trust with somebody, some random soul on this earth, is one of the most difficult things any person can do. And all these dating apps right at the tap of your finger has made it even more confusing. People with high standards, people being so stuck up they're unbearable, or it's just a 56-year-old Taiwanese guy who's trying to gouge money from your pocket. When I feel like all anybody wants, man or woman, is a nice, good, obedient partner.
Dog.
Like a dog. But that's impossible nowadays, isn't it? But don't you fret, because I actually have a solution for you. You could fly around the world and date women from foreign countries and become a passport bro. The concept of Western men going to foreign countries strictly for dating is not new. Mail order brides were a big thing starting in the 60s up until even the late 90s. Man, I wish I could have gotten a mail order bride. I want to see what one of those websites are like. One of the old ones. I bet you there's still some kind of version of it today, but I want a Sears catalog of just beautiful Russian women who just cannot understand me. Extreme language barrier. By the early 2000s, retirees and expats were also traveling to other countries, often engaging romantically with the locals. Hell, I mean, even in World War I and World War II, our boys in blue stationed overseas would get a little frisky with the locals, and then they'd end up having some kids with them. I don't think that they probably went back to take care of the kids, but the concept of men going out and finding themselves a trad wife in foreign lands is nothing new whatsoever. However, the latest iteration of this evolution is called the passport bro. This term describes men who travel to economically poor, conservative countries seeking women with traditional values for dating or marriage. Trad wives, which if you don't know what a trad wife is, then maybe put a little video up of somebody up online to make you want to hate yourself. There they are, trad wife, so sexy.
Today's video is sponsored by Magic Spoon. Your
Helldiver. La gorda se portó muy bien. Es muy políticamente correcta.
Papá, eso.
¿Qué? ¿Qué es qué?
Eso es un meme de ahí del juego. ¿Por qué?
Call of Duty, misión. Juega 15 minutos y te ganáis una pasturri.
The mystery of our vanishing colonists is at last solved. They were abducted by the Illuminate and transfigured into the potential assailants with which we must now contend.
Engaging orbital thrusters. Orbit synchronized.
¿Y el culo no va a llevar ni un estratagema?
Reminder, signs of disloyalty should be reported to the democracy officer.
No tiene la weá el culeado, ya no importa, para que no se muera, weón.
Launch initiated.
Este weón quiere que puro lo acarreen. Oiga, ahí más fuera de la weá. La weá maricona.
The fate of all humanity's children are in your hands. Do not let them fall.
Calling down.
Deploying sport weapon. Freedom requires firepower. Support weapon inbound.
Que le ha hecho la textura del juego, weón.
Requesting sentry.
La textura del fuego.
Sentry. Requesting sentry.
¿Qué mierda puso una Tesla ahí, weón?
Out of ammo. Thanks, empty. Not today. Eat this. Reinforcing. Validation democracy!
Freedom marches onward. Thanks to you. You may proceed to extraction.
This is Pelican 1. I have visual on the extraction zone. Reinforcements on the way. Pelican 1, landing in progress. Countdown initiated. Stand by for takeoff. Extraction complete. Pelican 1 beginning ascent.
Say hello to democracy.
El weón que se fue no tuvo ni una fair pelea con nosotros. Nos damos igual la weón. El culero se fue, weón. Digo que entraron hasta el fondo. Y como ya atrás estaba con puro explosivo, le hice. Cochino culeado. Cochino Larry. Cochino larrístico. Cochino larriánico.
Welcome back. Democracy's reach extends a bit further thanks to you.
¿Ah? Ah, son saco weá, weón. ¿Cómo gastan tanto gas en esa weá? Con el gas que gastáis en hacer esa weá, así como 10 bistecs, po, weón.
Allied destroyer has
Los curados son
left
saco weá
squadron.
de verdad, weón. Yo veo a un curando haciendo esa weá, le pego. No sabe cuántas infecciones, weón, se está comiendo ese conche de tu madre, weón. El agua no sale desinfectada por la weá.
The Illuminate have returned, but their autocratic intentions remain shrouded in mystery. Where will you strike, Helldiver? Helldivers across the galaxy are fighting for every inch of territory. Where will you join them?
Me pica el sobaco y si te rascas, te haces daño. ¿Tú sabías que el axila no se rasca? Te haces daño. En la axila, en todos estos pelos, porque este es un centro nervioso de las personas. Por eso aquí se pone hediondo. Porque aquí el cuerpo trabaja, ¿sabías tú? Hay una central de hormonas que trabajan en el cuerpo. Acá salen las hormonas que te hacen crecer y que te hacen que las personas te gusten. Aquí se generan las feromonas. Entonces, si tú te rascas, al tiempo, o sea, si te rascas así fuerte, al tiempo te empieza a doler. Y yo me acuerdo que una vez lo hice así como desenfrenadamente, así que me rasqué un día, así, porque me picaba mucho. Después no podía ni levantar, mi amor, no podía hacer ni esto. Así. Y hacía esto y me dolía así. Y cuando fui al doctor me dijeron, te dañaste un nervio, me dijeron. Me dijeron, ¿qué pasó? Dije, no, es que me picaba aquí y me empecé a rascar y me rasqué. Me dijeron, hacer eso, mijo, te dañaste un nervio. Y por eso ahora sentís puro dolor, me dijo, porque ese nervio al estar dañado solamente envía señales de dolor cuando la piel se estira o se mueve, po. ¿Cachai? Y yo dije, maldita vergüenza. ¿Qué van? ¿No hay nadie jugando en 10, weón? ¿No hay nadie jugando en 10, hermano?
We
Allied
destroyed the
destroyer
Illuminate
coordinates
once.
received.
Now, we will do
Huh?
it again. You're here. The galaxy awaits your salvation.
Te la vas por el bono, weón, para poder farmear.
Allied destroyer coordinates received.
Puta la weá. Esta weá estaba llena de weones de este planeta culeado porque todos los weones que están en nivel 1, que están recién empezando, Los curados están jugando en los niveles bajos, po. Pa' puro ver a los monos no. A los Illuminati. Illuminaty. Ya, pues, man. Ah. Entonces todo el rato que yo fui, la agua se transmitió. Entonces me cancelaron el stream. Se transmitió toda esa mierda que mientras no estuvimos aquí.
Allied destroyer coordinates received.
You're here. The galaxy awaits your salvation.
Ah, la reconcha de tu madre, weón. Concha de tu madre, me empezó de nuevo la weá. Y el tatuaje que te salió a la Toti no me lo regaló. Toti, no me regalaste el tatuaje, baby.
Creo que lo boté.
Maldita.
Tienes que darme tus tatuajes, baby.
Para que quede como la rana.
Every sector in the galaxy must be purged of the alien menace.
Allied destroyer coordinates received.
Your fellow Helldivers rage against the enemy's tyranny.
Concha tu madre, weón, qué weón. Qué weón.
Allied destroyer coordinates received.
Motherfucker. You motherfucker. Son of a bitch.
Allied destroyer coordinates
No,
received.
gorda, baby. Foto gorda, baby. Déjame conectar a un juego, perradías. Lasaña Hum. Loaf of Paint.
Engaging orbital thrusters. Orbit synchronized.
Ah, el termo. Asegurar el hoyo negro. Di hoyo negroni. De hoyoni negroni. El negroni. Negro, 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 negroni.
Launch initiated.
Negronilla. De hecho, voy a intentar hacer un nombre que se va a llamar Negro Nega. Otra más. Sería terrible que todos lo destruyeran hoy día. Sería como eso, de un pedo. Esta weá no está cargando.
Pero está conectado.
No significa que esté conectado, que esté cargando.
Go now, Helldiver. Let our enemies take no step that is not
Oh, ese, el anunciante, el narrador nuevo de la weá tiene una voz reculeada así como nasal. ¿Lo habéis escuchado? Es otro nuevo, weón. Ya yo me voy por el otro lado, quiero el culiao. Porque yo tengo el poder. Amen. Amen. Era tonto Sarabapes.
Found something. Calling down a sentry.
Rare sample acquired.
Orbital inbound.
Reloading.
Negro, 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 ne.
Found something. Eggs empty. New mag. Sweet liberty, my
Requesting sentry.
Me lo piteé al culiao igual.
I got the terminal.
Los culiaos, ¿para qué tiran balizas si después te morís cuando te van a llamar, weón? Tan saco wea los conchetumares, weón.
A multitude of operations, each one a chance for freedom to ring.
A ver, esta vez decía que tenía un modo gamer. Modo gamer. Modo gay. Gay. Mer. A ver. A ver. A ver, herramienta, modo de juego. A mí no me aparece en el modo de juego yo.
Ah, ¿en serio?
Chupa la tula entonces, po, weón. A ver, estoy puesto en un rato.
Street Fighter 6.
Oye, ¿por qué no clases es para empezar de carro de Japón?
Porque sigo la combinación de los dos.
Fighting round. Online. Casual match. Ken wins! Round 1. Fight! Round 2. Fight! Ken wins! Round 1. Fight! Round 2. Fight! Final round. Fight! Bring it on! Ken wins! Round one. Fight! Round two. Fight! Final round. Fight!
La weá está muy paja. Estoy haciendo el poder que tengo que hacerle, weón, y la weá no sale, weón. Me da raya esa weá, weón. Cuando juego en la weá, weón, contra el ping y me salen todas las weas, pero juego en línea con weones de otros países y la weá no sale nada, weón. No lo entiendo la weá.